What's up, people? It's the middle of the day. It's kind of wet out here. The weather is wet. It's given early fall season, and I love it. It's very good. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. It's like the Goldilocks zone, that comfort zone. Today, I want to share a quick message with you. We want to talk about change. When we think about change, it's something that is introduced to a system that runs on its own, and when that changes are applied to that system, it looks for ways to improve the system that is running. It looks for ways to optimize it. Now, change, as we know what it is part of life. It's part of the cycle of life. If you recall, not all of us can really remember this, but ideally, we all came out of our mother's womb, and then from there, we cried a lot, our eyes were closed, eventually our eyes opened. Then eventually, we went on to sucking on breast milk and eating liquid food, then eventually we graduated to eating solid food. And then from there too as well, around the same time, we were crawling on all fours. Then eventually we started walking, and as we were walking, we may tip over, but it got to the point where we were able to stand on our 2 feet. And then eventually we came from toddlers, to young children, then eventually adolescents. And then from adolescents, we became teenagers and adults. And then from adults, we're going to go into middle age, then old age, and eventually, we'll complete our cycle of life. And this is how change is. Ideally, when you look at this, you realize that within all living organisms within our planet right now, it all has to go through change. Change beckons growth, right? If things don't change, if you don't change, if you don't go through change, you're not growing, right? When a butterfly, before a butterfly becomes a butterfly, is a moth, right? And this is what we call the metamorphosis, right? Bigger changes. And as it goes through all of that, it becomes a butterfly and it grows. A frog starts off as a tadpole, then eventually it becomes a frog. And this is what life is about. We are always going through change. Change is something we must embrace and see is part of growth. Now, sometimes when change is introduced to a system and we are not very open to it, we're not very accepting towards it, right? We fight against this very system. We say, no, I don't want change. I don't want this to be I don't want this to be this way. I'm comfortable the way I am. The question that we must even ask ourselves is that why is it that we are comfortable with the way certain things are? Why has it gotten to the point where everything is good? Everything is good the way it is, I like the way things are set up. I like the way my life is set up now. I like just waking up, going to work, coming home. I like waking up, not doing anything, just eating, coming home, sleeping. We are used to the system. But when the idea of change comes to our mind, we want to fight it, right? Now, in truth, I'll tell you this, change can be good, change can be bad. But I'm going to start with the bad first. Change can be bad because there are certain situations where a system is already running, all right? And as the saying goes, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And then, you'd be like, oh, maybe we could do it this way, we could do it that way. And then you introduce this change to the system, and guess what? You've broken it. And a perfect example is the car, right? For the way this car runs, it needs gasoline, then it needs some engine, some pistons, some transmission, some electrical fluid, and a battery, and bada bing, bada bang, the car moves. Now, if we introduce a change to the system, and let's say that, why does it need a battery to run? Why does it need a transmission to run? And we take it out of the system, guess what? The car is not going to work, okay? So we see that. That's how change can mess up a system. I'm not sure if that's not a good example, but that works for me. Hopefully that works for you as well. Now, on the same token, we can also look at systems that we think is good the way they are running, and if we introduce change to it, it can be better, it can be improved, it can be optimized. But at the same time, as we introduce this change, we rebel against it because this is what we're used to. We don't want this change. And a perfect example that we can use for this change, I'll say, is the change that we introduce to our lives. You see, when we look through our lives, right, we are used to certain things, and maybe we feel like life can be better. We have this sense that this is good, but this can be better. This is just not enough. We have this desire where we crave for more. Maybe you have a great job, and your jobs take care of you. You can afford a house, you can afford a car, but sometimes you go to bed and you just be like, man, I really wish I could move out of my house and get a bigger house. Or even you have a nice car that you drive, and the car works well, and sometimes you're like, yeah, I love my car and all, but I wish I can afford a better, bigger car. You see, these are the ideas of change, and we like what the end goal looks like. The end goal is where we want to be. But for us to go through the process of making this end goal a living reality, that is when our body rebels. That is when we fight back. We don't want this change. Now, the question is, why is it this way? Why do we always fight back when we need a change in our life? What you must realize is that on an evolutionary scale, when you look at this on the biological scale of a human being, right, the way our brains are wired is that we are always running from pain to pleasure, right? The human mind doesn't like pain. The human mind doesn't like pain. It always wants pleasure. That's why we're always seeking pleasure. Like, let's be honest, who would do a 1,000 push-ups if they could sleep, right? Who would run for 50 miles if they just could eat the best food in the world? Like, it's from pain to pleasure. And because we're in this constant state of pain to pleasure, the human mind is set up in such a way that it's there to protect you, right? So when you find yourself in a situation and you want to change your outcome, you want more out of it, your mind is like, oh, okay, man, life would be good if I had this, life would be good if I had that. But then right away, within a split second or so, you start to think about the opposite. What could go wrong? What if I don't have this? What if it doesn't work this way? What if? And all of a sudden you have paralyzed yourself from taking action. I want you to recognize this, right? When these sort of things happens to you, this is natural. This is your mind just doing what it's supposed to do. Your mind is there to protect you. So of course, it wants to protect you from being rejected. It wants to protect you from feeling failure. It wants to protect you from not wasting your effort. And all of these things are there. They're like legitimate excuses to not go through the changes that we want in our life. But the problem is this. Sometimes when we don't take action to make change in the life that we want, it's going to end up costing us a lot, right? And what you must understand is that for you to even desire change, it means that you must be in a system where you're not comfortable, right? Because if you're already comfortable, then why would you want to change it? I like it. I like this equilibrium, right? I like this homeostasis of how things is going for me. I don't want to disturb the water. Just let it be. But when you go through a period where you're very discomfortable and you're like, man, I cannot deal with this shit anymore, that is the time for you to go through changes. And this could be maybe in a relationship that you just seem that it's not going anywhere. It could be a job. It could be a friendship. It could be a living arrangement. It could be anything that you are involved in, right? And you realize that it's not going anywhere. It's going to bring discomfort. Now, when discomfort comes, it's an alarm to your mind, and it tells you that, okay, hey, I don't like where this is going. I want to change it. So now the next thing is that your body, your mind is going to look for ways to, try to find a way to bury you out of this. It's like a rat caught in a maze, right? Or a human being in a maze. If you're in the maze and you're trying to make it out, you're going to try a lot of things. And whenever you experience these discomforts where your mind is trying to come up with the solutions, this is good. This means that your mind is doing what it's supposed to do. It's there to protect you. But at the same time, the negativity comes and you're like, yeah, it's discomfortable, but it's whatever. I'm already used to it. I'm numb. And see, and this is the dangerous part about it, right? When you are comfortable being uncomfortable, that is when you sell yourself short. You start settling. You become numb to the pain that you're going through. Now, I want to repeat this again. When you are comfortable being discomfortable is when you become numb to your pain. You start selling yourself short. And it leads to a lot of things. Once you find yourself in this zone of comfort, change is not inevitable. Change is not really going to happen because you're going to fight against it. And then the question is that we want to ask yourself, if you really desire change, are you really desperate enough to want change? Do I really want this change to happen? Do I really want to change my outcome, or I just like the way things are? And this is what we must always keep in mind. For change to happen, right, we must recognize that we are in an uncomfortable situation. And we must recognize that we are ready to take action. You see, whenever you feel discomfort, it means that your mind is working. It means that it is good. This is how you should feel if you want that change. But when you know you're not in a good spot, but you're used to it, you're used to the disrespect, you're used to the numb, you're just numb over it, then it's like, bro or sis, shit ain't gonna happen. You're gonna deal with it the way it is, and it's just gonna be every day the same shit. And the worst place you want to be is that you go through your whole life where you became numb to pain, you became numb to satisfaction, you became numb to just accepting the bare minimum. You became numb to not even betting on yourself. You became numb to not even challenging the status quo, or not even daring to dream, to desire more. And you think that is okay, and you think you're winning. And my brother, my sister, I'm here to tell you that is not how you should live. You see, you must embrace change. You must embrace the discomforts that comes with change. Yes, when you think about the good things you want in life, the riches, the luxury, the wealth, the health, when you think about all those beautiful things you want in life, and on the same token your mind paints the gloom that comes with it, the hard work, the uncertainty that comes with it, you must know that that is the way. Obstacles is the way, and you have to prepare yourself. And of course, there's going to be growing pains. There's going to be down moments. There's going to be moments then when you want to doubt yourself and you want to ask yourself, am I even doing the right thing? Is this what I really, really want to do in my life? But I'm here to tell you this. It doesn't matter. But what matters the most is that whenever the time for change comes, you embrace it. You take the good, you take the bad. You take the lows, you take the highs, you take the moments that makes you want to quit, and you take the moments that makes you want to cry, and you power through it. Because at the end of the day, when you bet on yourself, and when the call comes on you to make that change, you owe it to yourself to be true to yourself, and you owe it to yourself to make change happen.